What it is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be reviewing Johnson Family Vacation, the newest movie that we're doing for our Juneteenth celebration. I mean, it's not a new movie, but it's new to us because we haven't done this before. So we're going to have a good old time talking about this family reunion black classic. We're going to talk about all the things. We're going to talk about pimping out your ride. We're going to talk about picking up fine ass hitchhikers with weird habits. We're going to talk about a young Jason Momoa, all types of stuff. So if you want to hear what we have to say, sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. My name is Jonathan, and I am here with our lovely co-hosts, Alex and Jerome. How are y'all doing today? Jerome, how you doing?
Doing good, chilling. Been just watching some stuff. As always, I have, of course, some media stuff to get. We just got done watching the trailer for the new Tyler Perry movie, Divorce in the Black, aka movie that has finally, like, the movie that Tyler Perry's been saving all his budget for, apparently, because the first and only one in a while. It looks like it has some money behind it. They go to a whole ass carnival. I know he didn't film that at Tyler Perry Studios. They don't have space for that.
That restaurant scene looked high budget. All the rest was questionable.
It looked like real restaurants.
I'm not gonna lie, the rest did look a little questionable. But hey, no bad wigs. You know why? Because they didn't need to. They just saved on the makeup budget. Because Corey Hardwick's hair looked like he didn't take a comb to it since they started filming. No pick.
He's distressed. You gotta feel it. You gotta feel that distress. You don't brush your hair.
They're like, look, if we just don't pick, if you just let you come onto set without doing your hair, you'll look all disheveled, and that'll fit your character because you're getting a divorce. You see, because divorced people don't ever get dressed. Apparently,
maybe
don't groom themselves.
You never know. To groom yourself.
They'll show them that you're crazy. But yeah. But other than that, I've been watching some shows started up this week. We had another episode of The Acolyte come out, and once again, Star Wars fans are being a bit divisive on it. It's really, I'm kind of annoyed.
I heard that. I was listening to
also ASMR moment. There you go. Don't worry, it's not beer. It's cherry Pepsi, but zero sugar.
He said, "Don't worry, it's not beer." Like you, 19 years.
Like you crack a beer, yeah. Like you crack a beer every time of the show.
Yep, that's right. Alcoholic Jerome. That's what they call me.
Don't get that started, please.
And if anybody's the alcoholic, it would be me.
We have to get you to try some of that baking soda one time. Wait, I think you tried that already. Have you? Baking soda? Mm-mm. Okay.
Baking soda.
Anyway.
Baking soda.
Anyway. Not baking soda. Baking.
No, I know, but it made me think of that song.
There's a place in LA that sells weird sodas, and I've wanted to order them for so long. If I get some,
I'll get it and ship it to you.
Yeah, I was like, if I give somebody, go get a few things, ship it to us, and we can all do a quick taste test. Because I saw one, I think it was baking soda, and another one was it was like a maple soda, and it had like a warning of it being a little thicker, and I was like, it's carbonated maple syrup. I was like, that's disgusting.
Mm. There's also like a hot dog soda or hot dog water or something like that.
Mm.
The worst thing I ever drank was that hot Cheetos soda.
Sorry, what did you hear about Star Wars? I'm sorry, I distracted you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I heard that I was listening to music the other day, and I heard that Victoria Monet song from the show, and it was really good.
Oh, yeah, people are being. I mean, granted, here's the thing: the show is very. If you ask me, the show is very okay. All right, I talked about this, I think, a couple weeks back or a week back, but it's like the show's very, very, very okay. It's not great, but it's also not like the worst thing that exists either. In a world where Book of Boba Fett still exists and Obi-Wan still exists, this show is nowhere near that bad. And people need to just relax.
Those were bad?
All right. It's so bad. especially Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan has some redeeming qualities. Book of Boba Fett, they literally had to pull in another character and a whole other episode from another show to try and redeem it on the back end. They're like, fuck it, put something from Mandalorian season 2 in there. That'll get people to like our show.
What about the Bad Batch? Every time I saw that come up on Disney Plus,
I didn't watch I didn't watch all the Clone Wars, so I wasn't really interested in watching the Bad Batch. But I hear it's okay. Like
every time I saw that come up on Disney Plus, I always thought it said the bad bitch, and I'm like, dang, okay, Disney Plus.
No, I hear it's good.
Plus is not running like Saw movies and all that stuff along with like Hulu stuff. So like, did you ever see that tweet? They're like, Disney Plus now has the 7 Saw movies. This is great. And they
only if you set your profile up. Okay, if you set your profile up with your age, then it'll let you see Saw on Disney Plus. Otherwise,
but Alex,
they still can protect the kids.
Alex, the second part of that
was they showed somebody drew the Saul doll doing the Disney thing for the ears.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Saw, and you're watching Disney Channel. Dude. I want to play a game.
That was the one I saw. The one I saw was Saw is now on Disney Plus. Yet the Lizzie McGuire reboot was too mature for the Disney Plus platform.
Listen, that was the old Disney Plus. All right, the new Disney Plus is making room.
What'd you say?
I forgot there was a Lizzie McGuire reboot. I weirdly want to watch that.
Pre-COVID, they had filmed like 2019. They had filmed like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and it was highly publicized. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was getting excited. And then, like when they were on episode 3, they announced, "Hey, yeah, we're actually not going to be continuing this show because there's creative differences between Disney Plus and the director." And basically, it came like Hilary Duff said that the director and herself wanted Lizzie to be a more mature version, but Disney Plus apparently wasn't allowing it, and they were trying to get over to Hulu, but that wasn't working, and then they just scrapped it all together.
Oh man, I like it. Also, she's like an adult woman. What does that mean, too mature?
Well, I mean, Raven's Home kind of strike that balance,
and so did Boy Meets Girl or Girl Meets World now.
Girl Meets World.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Girl Meets World. There's been a lot of the reboots where they're like parents now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I think this one was going to be like, because those other ones are more focused on the kids because they're like the children's show. This one was going to actually be focused on her still.
And she's in high school,
dating and
but
stuff.
She's still like Hilary Duff because the last one took place in middle school. So they're like, it's the reboot. She's in high school. Isn't she like in her mid-30s? People won't notice.
Hey,
just put her in high school.
Every 90s show had like 30-year-olds playing teenagers. It was so funny because I love the one that they show an example from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where she's like walking by closing people's closets. There's a whole high school student with a bald spot. Just a huge bald spot right there. Like that's not even a man in his 30s. That's a
to
man.
To be fair, there's premature balding in high school.
That's
not
it's rare, but it happens.
It happens, and I agree with you. And even men in their 20s to 30s experience thinning hair. Not a problem. But that bald spot was so defined. That is absolutely a man like going into his 40s already. That was like no discretion. There are some, yes, you got a bald spot. You're balding.
The guy who played the brother in Hannah Montana, he was already like 30 during the first season, and he was supposed to be a teenager. He was supposed to be in high school.
That's true. Oh, then looking back too, when you rewatch that show, you're like, oh yeah, he does not look like a 16-year-old. What were we all on that we just accepted that?
Well,
that is
we were kids. Man. Literally anybody older than us. We just figured they were like, the age they tell us they are. Unless it was very obvious. Like, if they're like 80 and they're like, yep, I'm 25. No, you're not.
Melissa Joan Hart recently played in, I want to say it was like some Christian movie. She played a grandmother. Where they're sticking people their age now.
Okay, now
grandmother.
that's a stretch. I don't think she's that age yet. She might. I
She's
don't know.
not.
Does she
She
look
didn't
it?
look it. They didn't even give her gray hair or nothing. But the little kids who were like, I want to say, I
Yo,
didn't really saw the scene. Her the kid was like 14 or something. She's like, thanks, grandma. And they're like, one, she's not that old. Two, she must have been having her kid when she was 18, and that kid had it at 18, and maybe yes.
Right. She's only
also,
48.
Yeah.
Thinking of that, also there's a new. I forgot. Speaking of new trailers, there's a new movie, a new rom-com coming out. I think on Amazon Prime, starring Joey King, who plays a teen. Or no, she's not a teenager, but she is like in her, I think, early 20s. She is an assistant to an actor. That actor being Zac Efron, and she finds out that the Zac Efron is dating her mom, played by Nicole Kidman. And I'm just like,
Wow.
this is the weirdest looking, first of all, relationship, but also cast I've ever seen.
I never think I've seen Zac Efron in the same movie as Nicole Kidman.
No, but I mean,
Just in general.
and then
It's a movie
also,
or is it a show?
it's a movie, but it's like, I forget what the movie's called right now. But I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Like, I mean, they are playing it very much like she's an older mom.
A family
And Zac
affair?
Efron, yeah, and Zac Efron is
The younger guy.
I guess like the
Oh, that
younger
comes-
guy that she's trying to date, but it still is weird to see Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman and their current ages, especially Zac Efron with like the new surgery on his face and stuff too, looking like
He's.
it just looks weird. I don't know why, it just does.
He look. He's gotten it a little better. It doesn't look as bad now.
Yeah, because I think he had a surgery that's why he had to like not before he had gotten into an accident that resulted in a
I think it
surgery
was,
that then he had to
jaw
get facial
reconstruction.
reconstruction surgery to make his face
I
look
saw
better,
that,
but
Jonathan.
it didn't heal.
Liza
Right.
Liza Koshy's also in it.
Yes, she is, and Kathy Bates.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That
Kathy
is a
Bates
weird
plays
thing,
the grandmother
a-
of Joey King and the mother of Nicole Kidman. Scary.
That
is a
seems
very
appropriately
random
aged, yes.
cast.
It's a
And
very
Shirley
random
MacLaine.
cast. Huh?
Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, she's awesome
Her hair.
too. So yeah.
Wow. It comes out next week on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. That's what I knew it was something streaming. But yeah, so Star Wars is according to some people it's dead, and others they're loving it. And for me, I'm like, Star Wars is pretty much exactly where it's always been for the past like 5 years. So I don't know what to
They
tell
need
you.
to let Star Wars just die at this point, because nobody.
Listen,
There are like plenty of fans, and I get it, and it's a staple in like pop culture and everything. But at this point, every time you put something out new, there's more hate than excitement for it. Like that's getting to the point where I'm like, it needs to just go die.
no, I've said I remember when they first announced they were doing the new movies, and I said it then to a friend of mine. We were having a discussion. They were like, "Are you excited about the new Star Wars movies?" I'm like, "No," because like even as a Star Wars fan, because they're ruining what makes Star Wars special. The reason Star Wars Episode 6 made all that money is because it had been like I think like 15 or so years since Episode 3. So it was like an event. It had been so long because the most Star Wars content we had gotten was the Clone Wars like cartoons. So it's like it'd been a long time since we got a Star Wars movie. And I was like, now they're talking about putting out a Star Wars movie every year at that time. And I was like, they're making it less special. I'm like, you know why people spend buku amounts of money for Super Bowl commercials? Because it only ever happens one time a year. It's a special event. It only happens once a year. So people get excited and everybody tunes in or whatever. If you have the Super Bowl every month, it ceases to be special and people cease to care. And quality goes down. Of like, we're not going to put as much money. We can't spend this much money on the Super Bowl every month. So we're going to start making some cutbacks so that we can, sustain that without going broke. And so the quality will drop too. And sure enough, what's happened? Star Wars' quality has dropped down. The level of writers they're getting has dropped down because they can't get high grade writers for the same amounts that fast and to produce that much content on a regular basis. And now where are we? We have a bunch of subpar Star Wars content that people are not satisfied with. The fans aren't satisfied. The critics are pandering, most of them, and the ones who are satisfied, it's very few in between. The Star Wars stuff that's really good, and Star Wars isn't special anymore. So the best thing they can do is, after the show is over, stop making Star Wars content for a while. Let people have a chance to miss Star Wars. They've got plenty of Star Wars stuff to watch, like on their off time if they're really missing Star Wars, until you make something new. Because you got to make Star Wars special again. That's the only thing that'll save this brand. It's not like Star Trek. Star Trek was a TV show, so people expect more TV shows. Star Wars has always been movies. Like, that's where it started from, was movies. Big budget affairs with big bombastic special effects and all that stuff. So if you want that,
get a break too. We got a break for Star Trek. Now there's more content where there's like 3 shows going on. One of them animation, 2 live action. But we got a break for a while between the last Star Trek show and the ones we have now. So we had time to miss it. We had time to get excited and be like, ooh, even though what came out was like Discovery, and Discovery sucks.
We got so Picard, but yeah, whoever you ask, Picard also
now.
sucks too.
Yeah, Picard, leave him alone.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I haven't watched it. I've said I've heard from Star Trek fans that I know who have been like, I hate Picard. I'm like, really?
Not have a great start. Not a great start. But it's getting a little better. But Discovery definitely sucks. But we were all still excited when it first came out because we had this nice long break of it. And you're right. There needs to be this break because there's constant like shows, cartoons, animation, lore, this, that. You have to keep everything straight instead of these like little things that you can't have that they're its own. It's connected by the original Star Trek in some way or form, but they're still their own form. And all the stuff that keeps getting put out, they're trying to connect to the original Star Wars, but they've also changed the story so much from the original Star Wars that it's like, okay, was that accurate or not accurate? Who remembers the first movie? Or was it accurate to, this animated series where they dropped some Easter egg from it, Yeah. Feels like a lot going on.
So we'll see. But other shows that came out this week as well that I'm excited that I've been watching. The Boys started. And it's so gross. It's so nasty.
I haven't started yet. Don't spoil anything.
It's good though. But it's good. It's good. It's a good start. I'm excited for this season. And I'm excited that also Eric Kripke announced that it 5th season is the last season. So this is the preamble before we get the final season of the show proper. Because I think they're still going to do Gen V. And also, they're talking about doing The Boys Mexico, starring Diego Luna. And I think Pedro Pascal is also in it. Or it might just be Diego Luna. And I'm just adding Pedro Pascal in there. Either way, they're talking about doing another spinoff where it's The Boys Mexico. I trust them to do it because Gen V was so good. But as far as The Boys proper, it's doing very well. I'm liking the cast this year. This season, the storylines are really interesting and good. So I'm excited for that. And this past Sunday, House of the Dragon season 2 also just started, and it started big with just one of the most messed up endings to a first episode of a new season I've ever seen. It's Game of Thrones at its finest. Just know, become ready, come prepared.
I am not a fan of House of the Dragons. I don't watch it. It's just not something I'm really into. But I did see the ending because people don't know how to control themselves in social media anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Social media has no control. So the ending I did see for the first episode, and it does look good. It does look interesting. And the scene that I'm sure you're talking about, the very ending, is very like, you don't see anything, but you hear something, and that's like a lot already.
And that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough where you can like properly hear what's happening, and you're like, oh, okay. So that was interesting that way they went with that, because usually Game of Thrones and House of Dragon is very graphic in its visual setting. So it almost felt a little weird or a little more intense when you just only heard it and you felt the fear of the character who was running away in that moment.
Mm-hmm. So that was my week. I just watching a lot of great shows and okay shows, and I'm excited for some new stuff to start coming out again. Some new movies. I'm excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. It's coming soon. But yeah. Jonathan, how was your week?
My week was good. I watched a lot of stuff. I feel like I didn't have much going on last week. This week, I definitely have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm excited to talk about that next week. But for this past week, I on my end of the spectrum with shows, we got Love Island. It just started. It started last Tuesday, and it's off to an amazing start. The messiness, couples breaking up, couples hooking up left and right, couples breaking up left and right. We got the
Did someone get stabbed?
bombshelling. No, not yet. But the way some of these people acting.
The murder is on.
But the way some of these people acting, there's one person who I could see maybe doing it, but yeah, it's really good. Love Island USA, and a lot of people online. I don't watch Love Island UK. Do you want to go for a chop? I don't watch that one. But it
was very. Is that Cockney? Is that what you were going for?
Anyway, it is very
South London.
It is very I don't even know what I was saying now. Oh yeah, the Love Island US is apparently doing a lot better than Love Island UK right now in terms of entertainment value. So I appreciate that. I always like when, the stuff you engage in does better than the stuff you don't, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Also, Netflix's Perfect Match, Harry Jowsey, you need to go to jail. All right? Because this man is out here. This man is out here just slanging his thing left and right on all
and out like
women.
Samples.
Yes. And he tries to come on this show acting like he's this changed man and good guy, but he's not. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Harry Jowsey, but he's a big influencer, and he's a big F boy. He was on Too Hot to Handle like the very first season back in COVID, and ever since then he's been running these Netflix streets. But this show is very entertaining. It's season 2, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And then next week, The Mole starts. I'm really excited about that. And then 1 month from today, Big Brother starts. So I'm really excited about that. And on Saturday, I have a friend who I worked with at Warner Brothers, and she works for a production company right now. And her and a couple of the people that she works with at the production company, they are working together on this podcast, but it's like a narrative podcast. So there's characters, there's dialogue, it's scripted and everything. And she asked me to be a part of one of the episodes, the first episode. And I got to record. Yeah, I got to record that on Saturday. Nice. It was. I was in and out within like. It only took like 10 minutes to actually record the thing. I was in and out within like 30 minutes.
Let us know when that comes out.
Yeah, they said that throughout this summer, they're going to be recording all the episodes. And then later in the year, they're going to be editing and shopping it around. And then it'll probably be released around January or February.
Are they thinking of shopping it around to places like Luminary is? Because I wanted to do much like you guys know about my want to do Disney in Space, and I wanted to turn that into an audio show. And I was thinking of shopping it around to see Luminary and some other like audio platforms and stuff. Like once actually recording it and stuff. So do they have any like places in mind?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet, but I assume they're like weighing all the options and seeing what's out there.
Good luck to them.
Yeah. So that was that. That was a cool thing because ever since I've been in LA, I haven't done voiceover, and I've always wanted to. I've been even thinking about signing up to take a voiceover class, just so I can like get some sort of voiceover reel because
it's fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm building one with my acting coach right now. Is like a voice
Nice.
reel to start possibly getting some voice work and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I'd like to do. And yeah, it was fun doing it too. So long gone are the days when I played that snake that I showed you guys.
Good looking out, girl. I remember that.
Alex, how was your week, man?
My week's been fine. It's kind of been a weird week. So for me personally, but other than that, it's not too bad. I've been watching a new show. I kind of stumbled across. I don't know how started it, but I was like, oh, it stars a Kumal
Nanjiani.
Nanjiani. Yeah,
Is it
it's
the
called Welcome to
Chippendales one?
Chippendales. Yeah, Welcome to Chippendales. It got a little boring at the beginning, but it was the first episode's very fast paced, which I really enjoyed, and then it ends like on a really good like cliffhanger. So I didn't think I was gonna watch it after the first episode, but they hit me with a cliffhanger that was really good. I was like, oh, I ended up watching like I think 3 episodes in, and yeah, I was surprised. He's a fantastic actor who I love seeing his work, so it was no surprise that he's really good in this. Although he does play a stereotypic character at the beginning. He plays the, Indian who works at a gas station. So that was like, all right, you hitting the stereo on the head, but like it ends up really good. He gets a club, he creates the Chippendales. The one scene I will tell you guys about is where they're trying to find the Chippendales dancers after like, let's do this for a club. They're just going around to Muscle Beach in LA, just going up to these guys and being like, hey, do you want to be a stripper for women? And most people are like, no, no. So they're just approaching these really random guys at Muscle Beach, being like, "Hey, we're going to do a strip club for women. Do you want to be a stripper?" It was just a really, really funny scene, and that's another thing that like solidified that I'm like, I'm into this show. This is hilarious. The way they're so awkward about things, which like fair when you're trying to build the first strip club for women, that you're going to be super awkward about it with 2 guys just running around. So that was really good. And I've just been really watching repeating shows, not really paying attention. I watched like a crap ton of how it's made, which it was used to be on the Science Channel of how things are made, and that has just reignited my obsession with the show. I love it, just seeing all these random things being made. It's so funny. How much I'm into it again. I've also
What's
started,
the most
and
interesting thing that you've watched? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Twinkies. Twinkies are a weird thing to be made because they show it as like it's a soft sponge, but you know how much chemicals go into making a Twinkie, and it's just this
It's a lot.
batch, and it's just this huge batch where they keep adding all these ingredients over and over, and it's like technically, if it's supposed to be just like a sponge cake, that's like 3 to 4 ingredients. But they're like,
Right.
oh, now we add this to make it so it lasts and to preserve, and it's like, oh no, that is actually worse than you originally thought it was. And then the cream filling is not better. Nobody talks about the cream filling. Everybody talks about like the sponge of the Twinkie. That cream filling, they kept adding more and more ingredients into.
I've never liked Twinkies. Like the sponge tastes off, like the sponge cake tastes off, and then the cream also tastes off. Like I'm like, I don't know. There's something about these two things. They don't taste right. They don't taste like how they should in my because looking at them in my head.
The sponge thing should only be about like 4 ingredients, and the cream should really only be about like sugar and milk, basically. And no, they're about like 10 ingredients in each of those things to help the preservation of it. And it's just it is not right. But that's just one of the things that always stuck with me when they show how certain foods are made, and it's like, oh, it's weird to see it in mass production too. I'm also watching The Buchanans. It is on Apple TV. It's set in 1870. It kind of surrounds these young girls' life, and in England, as we were talking recently about possibly going to London. It's in England, and it's just one of those shows where it's pretty white people with problems, but this time set in like the 1800s. So it's really just fun to watch. And my eye. But it does go through the struggle of like that higher life in the 1800s where marriage was a business deal to secure a future for you and your family. So that's also just a really interesting aspect. And then the relationship the women have in the show is just, of course, beautiful to see how whatever they'll do for each other. So That's the shows. And I keep meaning to start The Boys, but I got into like these two other shows. So I didn't want to like abandon them, never come back, and or watch The Boys and then abandon them. Because I have a habit of doing that. I abandon shows like right in the middle because I'll be going back between shows. So I'm trying to like let me watch The Boys like for 2 days straight. Yeah. And I don't want to abandon The Boys.
Yeah. Or I'll start watching something in the meantime before I'm waiting for something else to start. Like when I like, oh, this show starts this day. Let me watch this in the meantime. And then the show that I really want to watch starts, and then I completely forget about the other show that I was watching.
That's why I hate with Netflix. They do the part 1, part 2. Because during that little break between part 1 and part 2, I'll completely forget about the show. I had, for The Witcher, I had to keep coming back. I'll be like, oh, that's right. Part 2 came out like a month ago. Weren't you really into that show? I was, but I forget. But that's pretty much been me for the last week.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, today is our Juneteenth episode.
What? Thinking of shows with other cultures. Or things.
I couldn't think of a good transition.
Johnson, like Juneteenth is a celebration of the freeing of Black peoples in America. It's the day when the slaves are freed, and in honor of that day, we've decided to talk about a Black classic. This time, it's Johnson Family Vacation. This is a movie coming out of 2004, and
20
has a wild cast. Yeah, 20 years ago, Cedric the Entertainer was in a comedy, and it was called Johnson Family Vacation. And it is a movie about, well, from IMDb anyway, the description is, buckle up for the wildest road trip of the year, a comedy adventure about a misfit family trying to survive outrageous obstacles, including one another, on a cross-country trek to their annual family reunion. And this movie stars, the top stars are Cedric the Entertainer, Shannon Elizabeth, Little Bow Wow, Vanessa Williams, Solange Knowles, and so many others. And it is directed by Christopher Erskine.
You forgot Steve Harvey.
And Steve Harvey, yes, he also is in the cast. And it's written by Todd R. Jones and Earl Ritchie Jones. So possibly brothers? I don't know. And if you haven't seen one of our retro reviews. So if you haven't seen one of our retro reviews before, basically we're diving in. We're talking about spoilers galore. We're talking about some little behind the scenes stuff, things we may have noticed that, upon rewatching that we haven't seen before, all that stuff. So if you haven't seen Johnson Family Vacation, first of all, watch it. It's a fun time. But if you have seen it, sit back, relax, and enjoy a fun time of us talking about Johnson Family Vacation. First, we'll start here. Anybody who hasn't seen Johnson Family Vacation before doing this review?
Yep.
Alex, what did you think watching it for the first time?
It was funny. It reminded me of a lot of all the movies back in the early 2000s where the family is going through a hard time and the dad sucks, but he gets his redemption arc in the last scene, even though he hasn't changed whatsoever throughout the whole movie. He's still arrogant, insulting to his children, and like the hard ass dad. But he wins back his family's love at the end. So, but in general, it was a very funny movie. All of them were very good. You know who I realized that was in this movie? Jason Momoa.
There's a lot of people in this movie that you realize were in this movie who weren't famous yet.
I looked at his face. I was like, that looks like a tiny version of Jason Momoa. And I was like, that's not him. I was like, is that him? It doesn't look enough like him. So I ended up having to search. I was like, wait a minute. That is him. That's weird. But then I was like, he's 25. Of course he's a tiny version of himself back then. And then I had to keep in mind for a lot of these characters where I was like looking at them, I was like, this was 20 years ago. Of course they look so much different at times. Because I was like, this is weird. No, it was 20 years ago. I was wondering, movies like this, why don't you just fly? You clearly have the money. Why are you going on a whole ass road
then
like this?
we wouldn't have the movie, Alex, okay?
It's all about the family bonding, the family road trip
I straight up
experience.
told my mom and my sister, who I love and I would do anything for, I would die for, that I will never ever go on another road trip with them. And that was just from like Seattle to like California. I straight up told them I will never spend more than 2 hours in a car with them anywhere. That's why I'm like, just take a flight. At that point, just take a flight. Mm-mm.
Well, I'm glad that you like this movie because you know who didn't? Most of the world. Because this movie is sitting at a whopping. Well, actually, I'll ask you. What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is for this movie?
Well, Rotten Tomatoes is racist. So think on that level too. 12%.
Jonathan, do you have any guesses? Or do you know
I
the
already
answer?
know it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you take that number of 12%, Alex, and divide it in half because it's a solid 6% rotten on Rotten. 44% audience score, to be fair, but 6% rotten.
I told
The
you.
critic consensus being the poorly crafted Johnston Family Vacation squanders its talented cast in a bland family road comedy that draws unfavorable comparisons to Chevy Chase's vacation movies. And I'll have to say that while I don't disagree with that consensus, I don't care. This movie is still one of my favorite movies to watch. It's a guilty pleasure for sure. I still love the cast. I still love the jokes. All of the little moments with the family. It's still, I still enjoy this movie thoroughly, even though I recognize it is not a good movie.
Wait, search up The Vacation. That came out literally like 10 years later. It's pretty much the same movie, but with white people. Look it up.
No, Chevy
The
Chase's Vacation
Vacation?
came out in like the
No,
80s.
I'm talking about The Vacation. It was a
The
movie made in
Vacation?
2014.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
What's that Rotten Tomato score?
Oh yeah, that's right. Wait,
It
is
was
this
literally
a?
multiple scenes. This one came out in 2004. Literally, the other movie, The Vacation, the remake, I guess, came out in 2015, 2014. And multiple scenes watching this movie, what I thought about that movie. I was like, oh, like with
It
even
has
the angry truck. Yeah, even the angry truck
it
rolling
has
I
a
up on
think
them. I was
that's
it
like,
has a
The Vacation did too.
27%.
See?
27%, and then an audience score of 45.
so
See,
about
same
about the
basic
same.
movie. It's the same. Again, horrible dad who wins his love at the end, even though he does nothing to change himself in the middle of the film, dragging the
That's not
family
true.
around in a car.
Okay, at the end of this movie, he does change. He realizes he needs to support his wife and
It's
stands
been
up to
almost
his
2
mama,
hours.
like again, like about her. So he does change.
You know what upset
I
me most about this movie, though? The one thing that,
What?
like, that they get to the family reunion and then immediately leave. Like, you drove
I
all
thought that
that fucking
same thing.
way.
The hell we
You
went through
drove
to
all
get
the
here.
way.
We stayed for a few days.
No kidding. You even haven't finished the whole picnic yet. You announce a winner, and then you're
It
like,
was
all
still
right, we need to go
daytime.
home. Mhm. So that's kind of, like,
And mind
say
you,
it's July. That's
they
like
showed
8
up late.
p.m.
They didn't even get there on time. They didn't start at the beginning of the festivities. They got there in the middle.
Let's say it's July. That's like some of the time where it's the sun sets the latest. That means your little guys are leaving before the sun sets. That's like maybe 8 at the latest you're leaving. You guys kept stopping at hotels and stuff because you didn't want to drive through the night. You couldn't just hang out with your family overnight and like leave in the morning or something. No, you were all like, let's go now.
I've seen this movie a few times, but I haven't seen it in, I don't know, maybe at least 15 years.
This is my first time seeing it not on TV.
I've seen it on TV. I think I've also seen it on DVD. I can't remember. I can't remember where I used to watch it. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I remember watching it at home, or at like somebody else's home. And I always had like a favorable recollection of this movie. Like, it was funny, it made me laugh, I enjoyed it. But while watching it this time, it didn't really make me laugh until the very end, until like they got to the reunion. Those were the few parts where I laughed out loud.
It's the best parts, yeah.
Yeah, the ending, the like final act is the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
I can see
And
that.
And as a kid, I liked the road trip part. It's weird when you grow. It's called growth.
Well, it's because when you're a kid, you don't realize like how nonsensical the road trip parts are. Like nothing makes sense. Not a single damn thing makes sense. But like the just the tip of them being, where the hell did that hitchhiker girl keep this alligator?
I know it was not in the car with her.
Right, it was not in the car this entire time. That bag was only but so big. There's no way it was in the bag.
And she only stole Fruit Loops from them too. The hitchhiker.
Right,
they should have been sneaking and stealing the Fruit Loops. That's it.
I guess
they should have at least shown her stealing somebody's wallet or something. No, she went for the Fruit Loops. But yeah, I still, even though like I didn't laugh out loud as I thought I would have, especially during the road trip part, it was still very entertaining to watch. Like it was still entertaining. Like even though, even if I might not laugh all the way through at SpongeBob or something, I still have a good time watching it while I'm watching it.
Yeah. Pepsi all over my desk. Hold on, you go ahead and keep going. I'm gonna.
Oh,
nice.
That's why I screamed. Don't worry, no one's dead. It's just, it's just Pepsi. Go ahead.
But yeah, I had a good time watching it. Alex, when Jason Momoa. First of all, I didn't know when I was watching it as a kid that Jason Momoa was obviously Jason Momoa. And I didn't remember that he was in this movie until maybe like a year or two ago when I saw one of those. I saw something online that was like, "Oh, remember when Jason Momoa was in Johnson Family Vacation?" I was like, "Oh, he was in that?" And so when I saw him on screen again, I was like, "Oh, shoot." And the really funny thing was, I have ads on Hulu because it's part of my our family's T-Mobile bill. Mm-hmm. We have it through T-Mobile. And so I have ads on Hulu. And so there were some ads throughout this movie. And once Jason Momoa showed up, it cut to an ad with Jason Momoa in it. Like it was an ad with Jason Momoa and the guys from Scrubs. I think it was a T-Mobile ad.
Oh, and it was, I remember. I've seen that commercial. They bring them like some food or something. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So that was, first of all, that was wild. And then overall, this movie definitely suffers from the there are some things that are like very early 2000s humor wise, like that wouldn't fly today. Like the part where he says
where he's looking for real Indian. That whole thing.
Yeah, the whole scene with Jason Momoa was a little problematic.
Yeah.
But the first part where I was like, oh, they really said that, was when they were arguing, the mom and dad, I forget their names, but Cedric the Entertainer and
Nate and Dorothy. Which, why are they giving the mom the name Dorothy like that?
Yeah, she don't look like a Dorothy.
Or Vanessa Williams? She did not wait a woman like that, Dorothy. But go on.
But when y'all cleaned up?
Yep.
Good?
All right.
All right.
Not hardwood floors, Pepsi's good.
There you go. But when Nate and Dorothy were arguing, and Cedric the Entertainer was like, "Oh yeah, because your brother turned out great. He's a woman now," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, dang.
Yeah, that didn't age well."
I know.
Yeah. And then he starts doing like a little Broadway song or something too after that.
No, he did the YMCA. Like, young man, there's a place you can go.
They really only problematic character was the dad again.
Yeah, that is very much the like 2000s. Most of these movies that we watch from the early 2000s, there will be at least one instance of that.
Where you just give a little side eye. Where you're like, In the movie and the context and the year it was made, not problematic. Now, I'm gonna be looking at you weird. Yeah, the whole when they get to the casino and he's like, "I'm gonna find some real Indians." I was like, all right, man. All right. Just gonna
But at least they acknowledge
cringe at
that
you.
it's like that joke. They acknowledge like, oh, you want real Indians, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on around back. It's just like, dude, I'm just gonna get one of the bus boys, just pretend to be like a regular Native American guy or whatever. I don't know.
Also, when Jason Momoa's character, speaking of him, gives him the feathered hat
Oh
and says
yeah,
it's the
and he's doing the
introducer,
chant
literally doing
against.
this, yeah, going in a circle. I was like, oh, okay.
That.
At the time, it was funny, and nowadays it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But like, no, his character was just problematic throughout the whole film. You try to win back your wife, but like one of the first things you say to her, you insult her because she comes out of the house and she's like, "What happened to your car?" And instead of just explaining something, she's like, it looks like a purse," and instead of just explaining what happened, he's like, "Well, then you should feel right at home, shouldn't you?" Like, what was that hostility there? Your wife has been separate from you for 3 months, and you try to insult her.
Here's the thing, though. Here's a question. Is it extreme to separate over my husband just doesn't support my dreams to the point where you will literally get an entire, like, put money down, like you know what I mean, like a down payment, like get a whole bunch of stuff in your name, set up a whole mortgage, everything
That's
for
3
a
minutes
whole
away.
other house that's down the street for like,
Yes,
and it's only been 3 months.
Yes, but for only one reason. And it feels like this would be fitting to the character. If he's constantly sassing you about it, like if you don't support my dreams, you support my dreams, fine, I'm going to do it. But as long as you don't say shit, his ass would definitely be saying shit all the time. I got to go study. Oh, do you really need to study? Like, can you just shut up for like 5 minutes? I'm going to walk away. Just like, shush. That's all. Like, if he's constantly like back talking and doing that crap when you don't support my dreams, yes, reasonable to leave. Him having to get a whole new house, that I feel like that was on him. He didn't want to just live in like some apartment downtown.
Well, yeah,
He's
like
like,
that's
I'm gonna get a house.
yeah, like the fact that he like moved out completely is just like it's not that serious, bro. I feel like this is something that could be easily solved in family therapy.
Also, yeah, that's like whole new furnishing, living room, bathroom, and that's a bigger house, so you got a guest room in there too, or the kids' room.
Mm-hmm.
Was that little boy? Was Bow Wow's character staying with the dad?
Yeah, he is staying with the dad.
Okay, because it kind of looked like that. Like the girls were with the mom, and the Bow Wow's character was with the dad, kind of when they were living separately. All right.
Granted, though, it seems like they, you know, the sister has a cell phone, so they still talk. It's just he lives somewhere. He lives with his dad.
Speaking of the sister, Solange, I do not remember her having so little of a presence in this movie.
She does not do anything. The most she does is hit on Jason Momoa and
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
She does not do anything
I think that's why they wrote the character. Either I'll tell you the two reasons she's in this movie. Either because they found out that Solange was interested in being in this movie, so they wrote her part in last minute, or they wanted that scene to work with someone and didn't want it to be creepy with the moms, so they decided to have.
I think it's more that they came up with the idea of we want to have two competing families face off of each other, and they're gonna have a nuclear like family model. Yeah, of like a little, like a teenager, a preteen, and a little kid. And then they were like, "What are we gonna have them do? What? Well, they're there. What do? They ride in the car. What else would they do?"
Well, I mean, that's how like every basis of a 2000 family movie was. You had this teenager that was slightly slutty for no reason, and then the boy who always wants to be a rapper, who's not listening to good music. That preteen who's always listening to rap, and his dad doesn't like it.
I don't
and
think
then you have the little girl who's the princess.
I don't think, which is funny because I don't even think it's that he wants to be a rapper because of stereotypical reasons. I think it's because we got little Bow Wow. He's a rapper. Of course, we're
Which
gonna
he
have
did
him be a rapper,
and then he gets to
movie.
rap in the movie.
Right, exactly. It's the same thing with like every black like young girl in every movie at that time, also 2000s. If they kind of sing, well, of course we're gonna have her sing in the movie. Why would we not? It's like because there's no reason for her to.
I'm surprised they didn't have
Every
Solange
single
sing in this movie.
I don't think
that's what I
Solange
was
was singing
thinking.
around that time, right? Like, was she like trying to be?
She sang.
singing-
The only thing I can think of is she sang the Proud Family theme song with Destiny's Child.
I guess that's true.
I don't think I've ever. Did she sing?
Yeah, the theme song.
Yeah, she's got a music career now.
Oh.
Yeah, she has albums and stuff. I have this. Oh no, sorry, this is the wrong one. I was gonna
But
say,
yeah, I mean,
I was
she's,
gonna
you know,
say
it's
You were
not
so
this
confident for a second.
it's not on the same level as her sister,
I
but
was
it's
gonna
like she does have like a bunch of like she has a couple albums.
has a
She's
lot of
more on
songs.
she's more on the indie side of
Indie.
R&B than,
But she has good
than the, like,
music.
pop side.
Don't Touch My Hair. That's probably her most famous song.
It's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, I was trying to say this portrait right here. This portrait right here is Solange. No, it's SZA, but it's the artist who created this has another portrait of Solange that I was considering buying, so that's why I turned to it and thought it was Solange. But sorry, SZA. Anyway,
but no, you're right. Like Solange has nothing to do in this movie. Really, most of the kids don't. Bow Wow's the one who gets the most like to do because, and you know, though, say what you want about Solange and the other little girl who's
Destiny. Her name was Destiny in the movie.
Gabby Soleil, or I think that's how you pronounce her last name anyway. At least like they get speaking lines. Max kids, like Steve Harvey's character's kids, they don't have shit to do. They have nothing to say the entire movie.
But
they're great actors.
the thing is, they're credited. Like Jennifer Freeman, she played Claire on My Wife and Kids.
She was in You Got Served.
Right.
Yes, and the other kid, Philip Bolden, he was in Are We There Yet?
Yeah, he's in both movies. Are We There Yet? And Are We Done Yet? Like he's also a good actor too.
He has his own road trip movie experience.
Mind you, I don't think those movies were out yet when this movie came out.
Probably
so this
not.
may have been like his first role.
Yeah.
But regardless, like it's just like both of them are decent. Jennifer Freeman at least was acting around this time.
Actually,
there's no reason she has nothing to say.
Literally, Are We There Yet? Came out the next year, 2005.
Hell, his whole family has to talk because also Sherry Headley, also nothing to say. She was in Coming to America, damn it. His wife has nothing to say. They just have this like that's why I agree with them. They're like, man, like one of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes was like, man, this movie has such a great cast, but they don't really utilize them. I'm like, no shit, they really do have like a really good cast of people, and they barely use a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Although I have to say, my MVP for this movie was probably Steve Harvey. Like watching it now, I think he was the funniest. Yes, I think he was the funniest.
Yeah,
he had the most character to him. Like seeing him play a villain, like seeing him play an antagonist was just so so funny to me. I haven't seen him act in anything since, and I wish he would.
I think this was like, according to IMDb or according to Wikipedia anyway, based on his filmography, the only thing he did after this was You Got Served, which came out the same year in 2004. And Racing Stripes, where he did a voice of Buzz the Fly.
He Think Like a Man too, 2014.
He is not a character in that movie. He just plays himself. Okay. Yeah, because he wrote the book Think Like a Man, and so the movie's based off his book. So he's in there as like a cameo appearance as Steve Harvey.
But yeah, I think he should do more acting.
I don't know. Steve, because I will say,
he has it. He could do
no. Steve Harvey is very funny, but it's just a thing because it's the same thing. And I will say the same thing about Cedric the Entertainer in this movie too. I mean, Cedric's gotten better though as years gone on. Neither of them are good at playing anybody that's not just them. Like, yeah, I mean,
well, yeah. So no. Well, Cedric the Entertainer, he did good as the uncle. I think that was when he shined. I
I
think for
mean,
me.
Like it.
yes,
Cedric the Entertainer, for
but that
most of the
uncle
movie,
character is again, it's why I'm like, nothing makes sense. Why is this character he literally, okay, it'd be one thing if he called him and just said, Uncle, we're broke down the road, we need help. He specifically told him, we ran out of gas on the road. This man, the first thing he does is get there and start tearing the truck apart. What the hell is the matter? But they
that's
need
the funny part.
They need bits so that it can be really funny. And Cedric the Entertainer's in this costume doing a very funny voice, and that's how we're gonna do it. And it's like,
Well, in
okay,
all fairness, no, wait. In all fairness, your nephew saying, "Oh, we ran out of gas." Cool. Like I come to see, and it's half covered in cement. I'm not gonna fully believe. I'm gonna think, okay, he thinks we ran out of gas, but there's probably cement in the radiator or something keeping this car from going. So
see,
that, in
no.
all fairness, yeah, no.
I'd be with that if this man didn't pull out goddamn curling irons to try and jumpstart a car. Mind you, that shouldn't work in any way, shape, or capacity, not just because they aren't jumper cables, but also because jumper cables, attach to something else. They don't just come in the hand. The power isn't in the handles. It actually attaches to another battery or car to be able to use to power up the vehicle you're trying to use. But the shit still sparks anyway because they need it to have to be funny.
That one's fair. I'll give you that one.
It's still, mind you, though, it still made me laugh. But I'm just saying.
He doesn't stay for the family reunion. I realize that now, too. He drops him off and he leaves.
Does he? Does he though? Because Steve Harvey calls for him at the end of the scene.
No, he asked. Yes, do you think he can fix it? But when they go, remember, he's already like at his shop. He had time to ask.
He says, do you think Uncle Earl could fix this? Uncle Earl! Like he calls out. Like he's there. I'm like, he's not there. You saw him drive off with the damn navigator.
Which honestly is my favorite scene when Steve Harvey has the trophy and it gets run over. His scream is the most the hardest I laughed throughout the whole movie. His scream is like, "What did I do, God? What did I do to deserve this?" That was the funniest scene for me in the whole movie, honestly.
Mine is when they do the prayer because he's just like, I know he didn't show up with that picnic basket suit. Look at because for me, that's just like, I'm like, that's when you when they started leaving, that just made me laugh because I'm like, you know what, this ain't a prayer no more. This is a roast session. We gotta leave. We ain't gonna do the Lord like this, and I'm hungry. Like I'm leaving.
I thought for a second I was like, oh, I thought you meant the Satan prayer at the
no. When they're saying grace at the family reunion, no. Shannon Elizabeth is actually, for the little bit of time she's in this movie, she actually does a pretty decent job.
She's pretty
not
good.
Bad.
Yeah.
Which that was another character, not necessarily actor, but character I thought they were going to do more with, where it was going to be more. She's a creepy hitchhiker, and then they get to the scene.
She's on the poster.
She's on the damn poster.
Yeah, and it's like
she's only in it for
20 minutes.
I don't know how long.
Maybe 10, if that.
She was there for a bit, and I like how they all just sit in the front seat after her Satan prayer. They're all in the front seat, and he's like, "Why?" Doesn't question it. They all drive off like that, but it's like.
Also, it's one of those things again where this goddamn movie, the first two acts don't make sense. He passes by the nun, and the implication is, oh, well, she's not hot like Shannon Elizabeth, which is why he doesn't stop. But then my thought pattern is, okay, yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Is he trying to get back with his wife, or is he trying to smash other people? Because if this joke only works if there's this possibility that he's promiscuous or something like that, or he doesn't mind trying to get with but he is definitely throughout most of the first act before that, not trying to get with no other ladies. He just wants to be with this one, with his wife, his fine ass wife, played by Vanessa Williams. But and that's why because I think Chevy Chase and Chevy Chase's Family Vacation, I think they do something similar But instead of him picking up a hitchhiker, it's just a hot lady in another car that's adjacent to him or something like that, I think.
They flirt. I remember that scene where they like flirt and he ends up like crashing into something because he's not paying attention because they're like flirting through the window or something.
Right. But see, that works because it's like he's just flirting with her in a car, but it's like he's not like gathering her up in it, like with the intention of possibly like, I don't know, having her around or something while his family's there.
That's true. It's also around your family. That's a little creepy.
So it's like, do you want us to like Nate? Because that's kind of shitty to do, man.
He's a terrible character. He's like the problem. The entire movie, he is the problem. Had he probably not driven with them, they would have gotten there smoother.
And he's a terrible driver.
Especially with the truck, which here's the question. Do you guys think that Stan was in that truck the whole time? Because the first time, all the truck does is just cut him off in the road and then just like, but that's it. And then he's the one who cuts in front of the truck, which gives the truck the chance to possibly try and take them off the road. But if they just stayed behind the truck, it would have slowed down their way to get there. But what's the truck going to do? Just stop? They can move around it.
Also, how are you playing chicken with an 18-wheeler? You're always going to lose. You're always going to lose in that game.
Well, you should be able to win. He can outrun him. The car's smaller. It's lighter. It's faster. Or at the very least, he can get in another lane, maybe. I don't know. Like,
also, the other. I missed it. Why did the trunk open?
Because the truck rammed the back and opened, opened.
Okay.
Movie logic.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I think that hypothetically would work. You could hit the latch if you smashed the back hard enough.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to close it again.
Yeah. Although, that was another thing that was a weird continuity error. Did they just like wear the same clothes all the days they were going over there?
I think so. Because at the end, she was like, "Oh, I need a hot shower."
Which I'm like, did you not shower when we went to the hotel?
Yeah, the mom had multiple like showers and baths.
Oh yeah, the mom had a bath.
Yeah, did the kids not wash? Because it's Solange that says that, right?
Yes, maybe Solange and Bow Wow didn't, because the youngest was in the bath with her.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are grown teenagers. There's no reason y'all shouldn't have went into the bathroom and took a damn bath and washed up. Especially Solange. She's a teenage girl. You think boys want you smelling all funky? She's trying to, you know what I mean? There's no way she didn't wash.
Also, so there was another scene that bothered me in this movie is when Bow Wow pees into the cup. And like
the faces were unnecessary.
But also like his sister's almost leaning on him. She's like in the middle, like face on the, I think there was a suitcase in between them. Her face is this close. Her head's this close to Bow Wow. And he just turned slightly. I was like, I could never pee that close to my sister. I couldn't do that. I was like, he was too close. And how did the dad not hear it too? That was full awake. How did not hear that?
How did they not smell it? It's pee. It has a smell.
He like moaned a little bit too. I'd be worried if my son was moaning in the back seat.
Well, to be fair, those faces, Alex, you're not a dude. Okay, listen. It's a thing where it's like it just feels like a weight on your body, and once you start, you can't stop. All right, it's just gonna come out. All right, it's just gonna.
I've never moaned or made those faces.
Also, do you think women don't experience that holding your bladder for a long time?
No, I'm just saying like that. Like I've heard from other women that like you can at least shut it off if you need to, real quick. If like there's an emergency or something, or or it's a road trip, whatever. You don't have that luxury.
First of all, that's how you get a UTI. If women try to do that, exactly how you get a UTI, and it's not healthy. Don't do that. Secondly, we do experience that euphoria when you've held your pee in for so long. No, it's you can hold your pee and everything, but if you've been holding your pee for a long time, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, and you release it, that's all coming out. You open a floodgate. But also, any moan from the back seat of where my children are, I'm not gonna ignore that. That's weird. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, the faces were a little bit much. Are you guys making faces when you pee like that
You
after a long
shouldn't
time
be
holding
unless
it?
it hurts. That if you are, it must be a kidney stone or something. Like it's just that's the only way.
Oh God.
Now
I
number
can't imagine
two,
how much I heard.
number two, that's another story. Number
That's
two is
different.
another story.
But also, I hate to say this, but also think of it as a guy thing. If my son is like, Dad, I need to pee really bad. Okay, you're a dude. We'll pull over. There's plenty of trees and bushes. Go down to, or go into the ditch or something
He
and
was
pee
on a
real quick.
time crunch. He was on a time crunch.
I don't care. You not ruining this car by peeing up on these seats. Like,
Also, yeah,
pull it
you're a
over.
dude. You can literally just pull the car, which I think that's what Bow Wow's character was asking. Just pull over for like a minute and let me
Right.
pee.
I mean, but as we've started doing with these retro reviews, also, I got to hit y'all with the picture show. Here's a picture of Christopher Erskine explaining to Sherry Headley how she's not in this scene and really any scene.
Hey, you get her for 2 glimpses before they start doing the little events.
Vanessa Williams is out here just being like, "Oh, damn girl, he did you like that?" That's
She's like,
cold shit.
I got whole monologues in this movie, and you ain't got nothing. Sorry, girl.
Yeah,
I know you
Cedric
auditioned for this
Steve.
role, but you gotta play the other way.
I don't think she auditioned. I think he was just like, "Hey, does anyone have Sherry Headley's number? You can get her in
Unlike
this
J-Lo,
movie."
nobody said no to them.
Here he is talking about. So here, check it out. So I'm gonna get a chance to rap, right? Of course, I'm gonna give you a chance to rap. What you mean? We got you in this movie, don't you? All right, now get ready. Go do a whole thing. It's a whole remix to a Lakeside song. Fantastic Voyage. It's gonna be great. Just like in Like Mike. That's all Whole Foods commercial. Whole Foods ad. Here's poster. Now the Bun World thing did throw me off.
Those burgers looked so unrealistic.
They look
not
so
only
plastic.
that, how the hell do you intend to eat all that? It's supposed to be a place for kids. Kids can't eat all that. There's no physical way a child could eat that much food.
I don't know. I
even
feel
you
like
took
they could eat like half of it and then come back like more than later. Because kids will eat a weird amount. They're always hungry in
That's the
some
thing
shape
with
or
kids.
form.
They're always like, "Ooh, I want that," and it's the biggest thing, and they only eat like a quarter of it.
Hold on.
That's true.
But here's the thing, and and no shade. I'm not trying to shame nobody, but there's a
Kinda
reason
feels like you
America
are.
has an obesity epidemic. All right, stop letting your kids eat all this stuff. All right, they only need but so damn much. They're so tiny and small. Their stomach is only like this big. They don't need all that. Stop letting them eat so damn much.
That's right.
Unless they absolutely need to. You know what I mean? Because nutrition is an important thing. But I'm just saying, if they don't need to, don't overfeed them.
The food was like, it didn't even look like they tried to use like foam or something, like fake patty. That was straight plastic right there.
Oh,
like,
that's
right. Look, he's gripping it and it's not moving.
The burger ain't got no give. The bun don't sink in or nothing. Also, why is it called Bun World? Like the bun is the most important part. Shouldn't the burger be the most important part?
Shouldn't it be called Burger World? Was that an infringement on?
Yeah, maybe that was a Burger World, Burger King or something. I don't know.
There's probably
maybe
Burger Worlds out there. There's probably Burger
in the
World.
Midwest. There's probably something called Burger World.
Burger World.
You go ahead, look for Burger World. Look at the next picture. There he is. There's young Jason Momoa. Young Jason in the house.
Burger World is a recurring location in Beavis and Butthead. It is a fast food restaurant where both Beavis and Butthead work. Okay. But there's also a Burger World. There's also a Burger World. Oh no, this is an Instagram account. There's a Burger World NYC. Burger World is a delicious burger restaurant that offers tasty. Okay, there's a real Burger World.
If you're ever wondering if there's a restaurant called that, you could probably find it in NYC.
That's probably. Man, Jason Momoa was pretty small though. You look at how big he is now, like as far as like muscle, and back then he was pretty lean. Like, he's a
And
pretty
no
lean guy. I
tats.
mean, he was still fit. You know, he had abs and
Mhm.
everything.
Well,
But
he was on.
very.
He was in Baywatch, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was like
Really?
in Baywatch for a
Yeah.
little bit.
Before he like blew up, he was in Baywatch.
But I mean, man, look at that. Look at those locks. Look at that hair. Look at that facial hair. You know, for the full beard, you look good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just
Or
like,
Jason.
but it was such a quick flash of him. I was like, is that who I think it is? No, it's not. But then I'm like, yeah, it probably is. And then I finally just searched and I was like, well, it is 20 years. He's 25 in this movie. Well, I don't know if he's portraying 25 in this movie because
No,
he
and
is
this he's probably
flirting with
trying
a,
to be like. Well, I don't think he may be because I mean, you know, he's not
I'm
like
gonna say
supposed to
he's
be.
under 18 because he's flirting with a teenager.
Yeah, but he don't know that, and she doesn't look like a teenager because Solange at that time also was probably like in her 20s.
That is true. They both
Wait,
look
let's see.
appropriate to their age.
How old was Solange in 2004?
How old is she now?
Because in 2004, Beyonce was only like in her early 20s or 25. So and Solange is younger. But Solange is 37. She was 18 when this movie came out. She was born in
Gotcha.
86.
That's a random picture. That's also random. A lot of these just Bow Wow. Just reacting. What else we got here? There we go. Look at them. All scrunched up in the front. This is probably an outtake though, because they're all smiling and laughing
Right.
and stuff. I will say this. You can tell that the cast had fun being on the set for this movie. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the entire movie, it looks like everyone had a great time being in the movie, had fun. There she is. There's Jennifer Freeman. Pissed off now. She's like,
what?
Like, this is bullshit. They didn't give me shit to do in this movie. Sure, they give you shit to do? No, I ain't get no shit to do. God damn it.
She probably like, dang, I gotta do this if I want to, work with Cedric again.
Man, I'm gonna talk to Steve. I know he can get me and you got served. Then I'll have speaking lines.
Right. That's probably what happened, actually, because they're both in it.
They got called in for a favor, and they're like, well, if I want to try again in some of these films, I really just have to go with this favor.
Right. I'm gonna bite the bullet on this one.
Is she still
I saw her on Instagram. She still looks really good. She obviously looks older, but she still looks really young. And I think she's still acting.
Just like, I'm like, you know what it is? You know what my problem is with Uncle Earl? Is that he really didn't need to be in this movie.
Oh, y'all, I almost left this site trying to look her up. The site that we're streaming on right now.
Come on, man.
I
like, you don't do this every week.
Because here's the thing with Uncle Earl, right? Like, because clearly what it is he saw Coming to America, like Christopher Erskine, I mean. And he was like, I want to get me an actor who can also do like other voices that are silly and goofy and stuff. And so he got Cedric the Entertainer instead of Eddie Murphy. But the thing about Coming to America was that all the characters fit. They felt like they would, regardless of if, it was a comedy or not, those characters would still exist. Like the dude at the barber shop, the Jewish guy at the barber shop, Tasty Freeze, like the singer at the lounge and stuff. Like all these characters make sense. Uncle Earl, well, you have, the uncle character exists definitely. Everybody has like a crazy uncle in their family or something like that. His inclusion in the movie was unnecessary because there's no way you're going to convince me that this family that can afford to get 2 damn houses with 2 separate rental agreements, if not 2 mortgages, doesn't have AAA. Like, they could easily call AAA and solve this problem.
Also, I just thought about this right now. They had a cell phone. If anything, they had the teenage girl's cell phone.
No, the cell phone ran out of battery.
Oh, did it? All right.
Yeah, they did cover their bases on that.
Okay, I think I just missed that part. But also, If you're so close to the family reunion, of course you're gonna call Uncle Earl. Do you know how hard it is to get a tow truck? I've had to do it through Progressive sometimes. I'll wait 3 to 4 hours. If Uncle Earl's available, go with him.
That's pretty much it on the pictures. They're kind of done. Picture show.
So Jennifer Freeman, now she's is still acting, and she's doing a lot of BET Plus stuff. So she was on a show called The Black Hamptons, and up next she has a movie called King of the Castle and a show called Blended Christmas on BET Plus.
Why? As long as she's still acting. I always thought it was kind of fun. She was on
she's still here. Let me share my screen. She still
gorgeous.
looks great.
Yeah, she still looks amazing. So good for her. She's still
totally. Real. And we talked about that whole when actresses and actors keep a steady role in lower movies or TV movies where it's you may not be doing blockbusters, but you have a paycheck coming in. You're all set compared to older actors and actresses who are no, I'm too good for that. And then you find out they went bankrupt multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
No, she looks amazing still.
Yeah, she looks great. I will say, one of the things we have to talk about if we're talking about this movie, we have to talk about this navigator. Bruh. I don't know why he's all bent out of shape acting like this car ain't dope. It's got hydraulics on it, spinning rims. The upholstery looks dope. I love the color. And it's got GPS in it. In 2004, you know how hard it was to get a goddamn SUV with a built-in GPS?
So why was he trying to get an 8-track player in there? What was that deal? There's old and then there's 8-track playing. Even in 2004, are you serious?
And then he just starts throwing the Sun CDs out. He got shot.
No, when he disrespected Tupac like that, I was like, you gonna disrespect Tupac? His son was right to throw his CDs out. And granted, I love me some old school. I love some Sam Cooke, Al Green, love all of them. But listen, if you gonna throw out Tupac, we gonna throw your Al Green CDs out too.
What is it? He didn't get shot. He got
grits.
Did he get
hot grits?
Grits. So. Yeah, hot grits.
And see murder. He said, with a name like that, he should have been
shot.
I mean, I don't know.
I want to talk about you probably spent the money on those CDs. You throwing out your own money. That's a kid.
Right.
That's true. Well, no, I mean, if you give him an allowance,
that's still your money given to the kid. Still paid.
So Cedric the Entertainer, you could tell that when he was playing the role of Nate, especially for the first couple acts, you could tell that he was putting on this voice. He was putting on the, I'm the uppity black father that, I don't allow cursing in here, and I blah, blah, blah. And it did read as a little bit authentic to me. I wish he wouldn't have done that. But when you get that juxtaposition of at the end where he kind of just loses
drops
all
it.
Of that. Yeah. I liked that better.
Or you said authentic? Do you mean inauthentic?
It was the this character that was very
that one. Yeah. I don't know why especially because it's why the choice to do the voice? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the sense of
Dr. Seuss.
Well, thank you. Because it's he could still be the same character and have used the same voice, and it would
regular voice,
because his voice has nothing to do with the fact that he's just an uptight, particular person that everything has to be his way or the highway. You could still do that without doing a voice. And it's not like Uncle Earl's voice is similar to his voice at all. So, and I don't even think they share a scene together because they didn't have the budget to have him be in the same scene together. So literally, even the scenes they do share together, it's cut to a scene, him talking to probably nobody, and then cut to another scene, like cut to the opposite angle. Uncle Earl's also talking to nobody.
I feel like they blew the whole budget in the very opening scene.
This movie had a budget of $12 million. I would not expect
this movie
that.
Didn't
that
even
seems
go
like
to
a
theaters.
Lot.
It came. It
yes,
went straight.
Yes, it did.
Did it? Or is
this
this just?
Movie went to theaters.
Or I'm looking at the trailer on IMDb, and it's the trailer for when it went to straight to DVD. That's why I thought it didn't. My bad.
Wait, did you see this? On October 18th, 2019, The Hollywood Reporter announced that a sequel entitled Johnson Family Celebration is in production. Yep. Cedric the Entertainer will return to star and produce. Devon Franklin will co-produce, while Michael Elliott will write the screenplay. That was 5 years ago, so who knows where that's at now.
That probably is not. Actually, no, I was going to say that's probably not going to happen, but you know how many black movie sequels have been in like development hell for years? We're still waiting on the next Friday movie. Or rather, it's called The Last Friday, but you know, the Friday sequel is supposed to be coming out at some point. White Chicks 2 is supposed to come out at some point. Like,
I don't feel like they need a sequel for that.
They don't need a sequel for any of these movies, but it's because they're not doing anything else. So they're like, yeah, of course we're gonna make another Friday. Why? Especially now, John Witherspoon's dead. I feel like after he died, that idea died. They're making another lottery ticket, supposedly. Bow Wow's working on that for a long time.
Bow Wow. All right. He might have a resurgence.
That one doesn't even make sense. I can understand. All right. I can make some sense of like White Chicks 2 or like another Johnson family movie or something. But like Lottery Ticket, that one makes no sense to have a sequel. Does another family member win the lottery? Are they going back to the original? Like what?
Supposed to be a returning cast of Brandy T. Jackson and Bow Wow's coming back. I don't know if everybody else is coming back, but you know, they're supposedly. I don't get it.
That one makes littler sense to why there's a sequel.
They always like so. It's like so them saying like they even though they announced it 5 years ago, it could still be happening. We don't know. Coming to America, like the second one, took forever to come out, but it was always on the books for a long time. So it's just like, who knows with these? Like, but it's a thing where I'm like, why? These movies are classics because they only exist in like this sphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second you try to take this movie out of the 2000s and make a sequel in the year 2020, whatever, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to have the same charm.
You know what? There's going to be a lot of joke of like they're going to make the joke, and then like one of the teenagers or one of the youngins are going to be like, "You can't say that anymore." Well, in my day, we could say whatever we wanted. That's literally a lot of like when they make sequels or show like, you know, somebody from they're like, "Well, I could say whatever I want because we were on my time," but they go on that speech and it's always somebody's like, "You just can't say that." And then they learn it's okay to make jokes once in a while and to not be sensitive.
That is like, that is like as much as I love the Proud Family reboot and I love the show, I think it's a great. The reboot is actually really good. It's one of the better reboots, but they do that a lot on that show. Like Oscar, the dad, he is stuck in his ways and he hasn't caught up with the new age. Like the episode where I forget what it was. I forget what was happening. Oh, it was the episode where he found out that Penny's friend had two dads, and it was like, and he couldn't accept it, and
it's just like they just did that Best Man series on Peacock, and one of the big plot points was Morris Chestnut's son is non-binary, and it's such a big deal because he doesn't accept that, and it's just like. I'm sorry. I'm tired of this plot point.
Yeah,
I really am. The old parent from the series that started in the 90s can't accept the modern world anymore. It's just like we've done this now to death. To death.
It's the same way. It's literally the same way where you watch movies back in like the early 2000s and the 90s, where you have the really racist grandmother. And all you say is, she's a product of her time. Oh, she's from a different generation. And now we go jump into this, this era. And we got the parents from the 90s and the 2000s. And they're like, well, sexuality and gay people. And it's like, it's a product of their time. It's like, seriously, did we not learn for the past that people ended up hating the racist grandmother? Oh, my audio stopped.
Did it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I ran out
Well,
of space.
guess we using this. Yay! It didn't happen to me this time.
How dare you?
That's
Guess
okay.
we're
I'll
using
just
the
use the
StreamYard.
rest of this audio that's being recorded on StreamYard. So make it
See,
work.
locally sourced audio.
It did save me
Like
in the
vegetable.
roleplay episode too. So that's
Eh.
what I'm using now for my own audio for that. Here's the thing, too. Right? This movie is like I wanted like more explanation on like the relationship between Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer's character, like Nate and Mac. And the reason
Like,
why
do they hate
is
each other?
right. Well, especially because there's a scene where I'm looking down, and mind you, it doesn't have that much higher of a rating, but I think it's a better story. Is one of the posters on here, you know how IMDb does the more like this section, is Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. And I'm thinking about that movie. I'm like, you know what? That movie is basically literally almost verbatim the same plot. The only difference is that instead of it being a family competition, it's just a general kids and cousins competition with one person, because Martin Lawrence plays Roscoe Jenkins, and he's competing against his family for the affections of his father, as opposed to in this movie where they're competing for the affection of their mother. But it's played more serious, like especially when it comes to the lesson of the movie, where Roscoe Jenkins is like, he's like James Earl Jones plays the father in that movie, and he's super serious, mostly because he's James Earl Jones, but also because like, you know, it's just like, and they play it up, and it's a like serious thing where Roscoe, you find out that the reason Roscoe hasn't been home and why he feels like he has to compete is because he's never fit in his family and never felt like he was supported by his family. And there's like these deeper themes of like being there for your family members, even the ones you don't fully understand, but they're family nonetheless. You got to love them all the same. This movie, they're like, to hell with that. We're here for the jokes and the yucks, man. We don't have time for deeper themes and meanings.
I think it was just an overall disdain between the brothers, because it felt like, to me, Steve Harvey's character, he was always the goody two shoes. He was always the more successful one, the one that can, afford more. He has like the perfect family and perfect life and everything. And while Cedric the Entertainer's character, has more of a grounded maybe life, maybe he can't, it seems like they're doing well, especially if they got enough money to buy a whole nother daggone house, but it seems like they're not as like showy with their money and in turn their affection. So maybe there's a disconnect. Maybe that was where the disconnect stemmed from between the two brothers.
Maybe. I mean, it's just the fact of like Steve Harvey's so one-dimensional. Really, a lot of characters in this movie are so one-dimensional.
Yeah. Most of them are one-dimensional.
And it's like, and it's a shame. But again, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen Steve Harvey play anyone more complex, like in anything he's been in as far as movies goes. So maybe they were just worried that it's like, look, Steve, we're just here to have you tell jokes and do a little dance real quick.
We got to put some respect on his name when he played that credit card in those episodes of The Proud Family.
Oh my god!
Do you remember that?
I do. I was just like, I
don't.
saw it as soon as you said
fun.
it.
I like that.
It's like it was a blue card too, and I remember that.
Yeah, and it had a mustache on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like a hit flashback right there.
Because it was like the episode where when Penny got a credit card and she was only supposed to spend it on emergencies, but she ends up going shopping, and Steve Harvey is like, you know, you want to spend this money, and he's like tempting her to spend the money.
Also, I just thought about this again. Is Nate's just a terrible person. Like, because here it is. Because mind you,
told you
she wrong for this. All right, she sets him up for a drive-by in that jacuzzi where she takes his swimming trunks and then she puts him up, and he's stuck in the jacuzzi now naked and he can't leave. And I'm like, dang, that's messed
Why
up.
doesn't he just get out immediately? Like at that point, you immediately get out because you don't risk.
That's true.
Somebody else,
and at least you cover yourself. You have two perfectly free hands. You can just cover yourself or grab a pillow from like the nearby benches or whatever. Like grab something to cover yourself up. You don't just walk around naked, free balling it, and just be like, I hope nobody sees me. Like. You're not invisible. Someone's going to see you. But he's stuck in the jacuzzi. Then they try to pull the bait and switch on us, where all these hot women come out who are college girls because they're from the college sorority that is there. Which, mind you, where did they come from? There's no pool here. There is only a jacuzzi. So why the hell are they walking around in bathing suits?
You don't know, there could have been a pool. They're going to the jacuzzi. You want to be in your bathing suit.
When? Because the bait and switch is they show up and then he's like, oh yeah, all these hot women, hot college girls are gonna be getting in the jacuzzi with me and I'm butt ass naked. Implications are limitless. And then what happens? But no, the big boned women come in. They just the plus size women get the jacuzzi instead. And which I'm like, yeah, but like, mind you, I mean, I'm not picky. Don't be honest. Some of those women can still get it. Like they can't. They were still fine as hell. They were cute. Had their hair up nice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if they a little more cushion for the pushing. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It ain't that bad.
Good Lord.
I don't know what the big deal was. I mean, they were still fine as hell. I was down. It's just, but no,
But let's move this along.
But all I'm saying is I'm like, was he ready to cheat on his wife with these college women? First of all, they are too young for you, bro.
He was gonna risk it all.
That's right. Secondly,
that's what he did with the hitchhiker too. It's also like this is my neighbor. And it's like, are you serious? Weren't you just like hoping your wife forgave you a minute ago? Like at the hotel, you were like, it's 3 months.
Right. Hell, just before that scene was just before he saw the college girls about to get. He thought they were about to get in the jacuzzi. But also, those women were bold. I mean, the second they found out he was naked, they were like, "Oh, where you going? Where you going? Nah, let's have some fun. Let's party." You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, dang, they have no shame. They're just like, "No, we about to get it on in this jacuzzi, all of us."
Oh Lord. This whole movie was an interesting watch in its own and a real reflection of the early 2000s family dynamic that they had for a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely a product of its time. Again, it's a guilt. I treat it like a guilty pleasure. You know what I mean? The movie is not good, like on an objective level. But on a subjective level, I like it. I think
entertaining.
It's entertaining. You know what I mean?
Fun.
It's got fun moments. It's like, no, they don't utilize the great cast they have at their disposal, but there is some fun moments here and there. A lot of things just happen just for a joke, but the jokes are entertaining, Mm-hmm. And say what you want, the soundtrack of this movie is dope as hell. I love the soundtrack of this movie.
They did get that when they cut to the family reunion and you make me happy. That song is playing.
Which they missed the chance to do the like family reunion.
Family reunion, like cliche.
Like, because that's like, I mean, that song is great though. And they used it in Medea's family reunion. If it's good enough for that movie for Tyler Perry to use, it's good enough for this movie. But
Fair.
you know,
But yeah,
but no, this movie is it's still a fun time. I think it still is a black classic for sure, and
mhm.
you know, you gotta
It was fun
appreciate.
getting.
Oh, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was just gonna say it was fun getting to rewatch it and relive the fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And be on the lookout for
Jerome,
Celebration when it comes out some point one day.
One day.
there's so much content coming out. Who knows? It might come out sooner
Mhm.
than we know it. But and if you have Hulu with commercials, Jerome, I was telling Alex while you were having your soda mishap, but Jason Momoa, when Jason Momoa came on screen, because I have Hulu with commercials because I have it through my phone plan, it cut to a commercial of Jason Momoa for T-Mobile
T-Mobile.
with the guys
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Scrubs. Mm-hmm.
Also, real quick, because the scene's showing up right now on IMDb, they or like I will say his family is way more talented than Mac's family because in like an hour's time they came up with a whole choreographed dance plus rap plus like whole like with choreographed song. He had the whole thing and outfits that they conjured out of God knows where.
But don't you think they rehearsed that earlier because they knew
There's
that that was
no
the
way
tiebreaker every year?
they rehearsed that. The hell they went through on that trip, they were tired. All they did had time to do was eat
No, I
and
mean
then get on that stage.
before they left for the trip.
That's good. They did
How?
know about that.
Because they
They
said
were in
that
two
every year
separate houses. They weren't talking for 3 months.
You don't know they weren't talking. They just weren't living together.
Yeah,
I
because
feel
why
like
would you agree to go on a family vacation with someone you weren't talking to for 3 months?
I feel like if you're
Yeah.
angry at your husband because he won't support your dreams, the last thing you want to hear from him is, "Okay, but you still good for rehearsal tonight, right? We still meeting
Well,
up in
he
the garage to
for
practice the
her
dance
dreams.
routine."
He does this for her dreams. She said nothing about she doesn't support his dreams. And she's willing to put up with his mama who keeps saying your marriage is broken. I don't know. I feel like she's willing to go the extra mile in anything.
I know
Especially
that was
because
a hating ass mama.
yeah,
She
and then try to make it right by her being like, "You finally stood up for your wife. I appreciate that." And I'm like, "To hell with that." So what? You've been disrespecting my wife to encourage me to like to fight for my wife
That's
more
what I'm
against you,
saying.
my mama, a person you
You
like. You will smack the taste out my mouth if I disrespect. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. Clearly, he has not supported her for like, let's say the daughter's 18, for like at least 18 years when you have your mama talking shit constantly about your wife and you being like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when's dinner? Like, yeah, I'd leave your ass too.
I,
My
insane.
mama raised me not to take any bullshit. I don't know about his mama.
But yo, like that, like I hate to say it, Max, like that dance routine they did was whack. I'm sorry. Okay. Outfits weren't like first of all, I'm like I hear culturally appropriating Chinese
right.
outfits.
That was
Ain't
another
nobody
thing. Yeah,
Chinese on this stage.
that was another one where it's like, I understand it's a product of its time, but still.
Out here looking like Blackie Chan.
And that's Johnson Family Vacation. All right. Audience, let us know if you've seen it. Let us know what you think of the movie. Did you watch along with us? Did you come back after you watched it? What did you think with your 2024 eyes versus your 2004 eyes? Let us know. Go ahead. The first ones to die everywhere on all the social media platforms. You can also email us the first ones to die at gmail.com. You can, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. And if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, go ahead and give us 5 stars and a review. We would appreciate it so much. You can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok, as well as the podcast TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I show little clips of episodes we have done, as well as movies or shows we may be watching, or just random stuff when I'm bored. What about you, Jerome?
You can find me at Jerome Rhett on Instagram, and also check us out on the YouTube channel. You can get all types of extra content that you can't get on the audio streaming platform, stuff like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming content, even video versions of all of the podcasts, so you can see all of our lovely faces. And when we do our picture shows and other things we're presenting, you can also see what we're looking at, so you can be a part of the conversation, chime in and stuff like that. And if you're already watching on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And hopefully, if you like what we do, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when new stuff's coming out, because you're not going to want to miss any of this podcast goodness. Spilling sodas, talking about like being thirsty on the podcast, talk about all types of things, all types of stuff.
Lord.
It all happens live right here. Well, not live, but pre-recorded on YouTube for your
Live to tape.
pleasure. Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Check it out. Jonathan, where can people find you?
I already said mine, but
You did.
You want to find me?
You know what? Listen, I'm looking at this alligator scene right now. It took my it distracted me. I'm still amazed that they just had a whole ass alligator. Would she just have it like in place, in a place where the sun don't shine or something when they picked her up or something like that? What's going on? Where'd the alligator come from? Comment below, audience. Tell us where you think the alligator came from.
Is that why she took the Fruit Loops?
For the alligator.
Yes, that's the only thing I can assume. She took it to feed the alligator.
I thought she was just stealing a steal. I don't know.
Also, question: how the hell did the alligator get in their room? They have 2 separate rooms. She was in a completely different room.
Through the vent.
Got through
the vent. Okay, the vent isn't tied to the same room. That's not how vents work.
They showed the alligator crawling through the vent.
Yes.
Vents tied through the same room. That's how the air conditioner works.
No,
the heater works.
Do, but they're like all. You did HVAC before? Like it's all like tied. Like there's a bunch of different ways that the vents are tied in. They're not just like a direct route to the next room.
Maybe this one is. Maybe that's how this is a cheap motel. Maybe they were like, let's just do this way.
Yeah, that's how much of a budget hotel it was. All right, that is it for us today. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah, tune in next week for something in celebration of Pride. We didn't forget about you, LGBT folks. We got you covered. We're gonna get to your movie next. Do something in celebration of Pride Month as well. And if you're already celebrating Pride, happy Pride. But you'll have to find out what that is next time. But until then, have a great week, great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And we'll catch you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
That's actually a really good one.
Oh, we were way off that time. But
my clap was so loud I didn't honestly hear either your clap. So.
You know what I realize I do when I clap? I hit my fingers to my palm because I'm always like, why is my clap so quiet? It's because I do this instead of this for some reason.
Oh, I do that too.
No, it can work.
My claps are always loud.
You gotta hit it right.
Yeah.
So when I hit it like this, it's louder. For some reason, I always do that, and it's quieter.
Oh, really?
For me personally, I don't know why.
You have to cup your hand. If you go like
you have to cup. I'm too straight, which is a weird.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a fuller snap.
Yeah, it works. You gotta.
No, that's a way fuller sound than what I've been doing. I guess I've been too straight, which is not a sentence I thought I'd ever hear myself say.
Go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to see all the fun stuff we got going on here, like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, all types of stuff.
Please follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe.